So I haven't done videos like this in nature in a while, and I felt like this would be a good time because I haven't been on hikes actually for a while. The last hike I've been on, wow, I've never actually spent this much time without being in the presence of nature, without being like in such a space like this where I'm arriving somewhere. I think my last hike was in November, so it's May now. It's been over 4 months, almost 5. And the more I grew up, the more the days pass by, or the more experiences I go through in life, each new day, I feel like this sense of growth, or rejuvenation, or change, or something that like deeper down leads me to a new person, to a new version. And it's weird, but although I've been this last few months without being in contact with nature, I've still been, in a different way in contact with nature. I feel like my relationship with my mom is pretty much relationship with nature. I feel like going to the ocean and spending hours into the ocean is connecting to nature. But I mean hiking and being kind of like in this like type of environment, it's definitely been a while. And I don't know, I like to think of my life as this like canvas that it's like one canvas, and I just keep painting over and over, try to get the right colors, try to get the right shape, and basically come up to the final product. But it's been a while since I've been doing that, and like I said, every day it's a new lessons, a new realizations, a new click, and the more it clicks inside, the safer and prepared, the closer I am also to truth. He's waiting for me. Look, such a good boy. Let's go. Come on. And I don't know, but during this last few days, with the last months, I complained a lot about things that were missing, yet I was able to thank so much for many other things I was receiving. And it was this balance, right, of like negative and positive, as it's always been with anyone. We complain about what's lacking, we're grateful for what's floating, for what's like in full abundance. And there you go, it's coming out. And yet I didn't know like what path was right for me, or what else to do with that canvas. Like the canvas was full in different colors. I had washed it over and over in different formats, and I felt like it was time to perhaps throw away that canvas, get a new blank one, and start painting everything over again. However, before I get the new canvas, because you can pray to God to get rid of one of the canvas you have that it's no longer serving you and get a new one, He did also tell me a few things that I think I would like to reflect over and bring it to, my own conscious awareness. Because if I keep just moving on without not doing the right things but repeating the same mistakes, basically I'm gonna keep wasting ink and the canvas, and I mean the energy in my own life, right? So when you get a new canvas, you need to take into consideration that which you have faced over and over, and yet you can't quite master. Like, what are the things you see really like yourself doing over and over a bunch of you, and you continue to struggle with? Like, what is that? I can think of relationships and work, but then you gotta also realize what patterns specifically you have been dealing with. And from there, you can make a commitment to embrace a new pattern. So only then you will upgrade. So the pattern for me, at least that I've realized at work, and I'm happy to disclose with you, is that I would find a job and I would get on for the money. I would think of like, oh, I can make this much money in this job, and with this money I can reinvest in my passions and hobbies and my fulfillment creatively. That was it for many years, yeah. But then I noticed that I would waste time at the job simply because I wasn't happy doing it. I was just doing it for the motive. Like, the motive was to be fulfilled creatively. Only when I was fulfilled creatively I would be happy. And because I had that belief, I would just do a horrible job, like performance-wise. I would get in trouble with the people who had hired me and so forth, and I would essentially quit the job. So that was a waste of time, energy, and obviously some bad interactions with the coworkers who had given me a chance to work on that field. So that was one pattern, right, that I was following for many years, and now I realized in that I haven't repeated this pattern in over a year, but I'm tempted to do that again as I'm finishing traveling. I was also traveling the last few years, so I wasn't given the chance to, like, I have to find a job in this and now. So I had finished my master's in psychotherapy, so in that I was good with finally pursuing something I loved or that I was good at. But then there was a new pattern that I had realized, I mean, not new, but a very old one, that it has been also following me for the last decade or so. And that has to do with the way I attract relationships in my life. Romantically, or I don't think there's another word. Romantically, yeah. So I noticed there are two patterns, or maybe 2 or 3 patterns of romantic relationships I've been attracting on, and that I've always got disappointed or frustrated or end up again feeling like it was a waste of time. The first one is this, like, creative man, and the fire between us is really, it's intense. He's sometimes attractive or not, but typically is this, like, fire, between us. And what happens is that energy is in an entity that is either unavailable, meaning because it's already in a relationship, or because it works way too much that it doesn't have time to get in a relationship, or someone who is completely unintelligent when it comes to the emotions, unaware of the emotions. So because of that, we can't quite have a communication. It's more like the attraction, the chemistry of itself that it's there. But that man doesn't know what is really happening, and he takes that for granted. He thinks it's a normal thing, and then after I'm gone, probably he realized like, oh, that was something, there was a potential there. There was like a potential relationship, but it wasn't. Anyways, that's pattern number one. So what has happened to me on those ones is that I fall in with that person, the man, and then nothing happens. I just circle back on around like the same pattern, like create hopes and expectations, and basically at the end, nada, zero. So the second pattern is this highly aware, spiritual, awake man. And we click, and it's like we understand each other, we understand emotions, we can feel each other, we can tell how powerful is this thing that we feel about around each other. But wait a minute, that's not enough. Why? Because we realize way too much about each other, and that scares the shit out, because we are able to see our flaws and imperfections, or the things we lack or are still working on in each other. So it's almost like a soulmate connection, where I see what I need to get better at through this person, because this person has so much of that skill or has mastered like in this area, and vice versa. I also have basically what this person is struggling to excel at, and typically is like emotional skills, like patience, humility, kindness, compassion, and they typically have structure, order, organized, logic. So what happens in these relationships? Basically the pattern's also the same. It starts like really fired up, like wow, so many possibilities between us. And I mean, actually, this one also doesn't lead too much. It stays on the kind of friend zone, where we talk, maybe there's some sort of intimacy here and there, but sooner or later something happens, like that person typically is unavailable to also continue on that path with me. Either I am in the city that I'm leaving, like we meet at a place where we're both there temporarily, or there's also that component of emotional unavailability, like the partner is already engaged, or when he's not engaged and we start together, we build a fire, we go out together, have really deep conversations, but then because we have so much like in common in terms of like understanding the things we have gone through, it kind of like washes out the sexuality aspect, and it stays on the friend zone more than the intimacy aspect of like being a couple. Because you gotta be careful, like when you're in a relationship and you feel like you spend way too much time with that person you're with, and you start living like brothers and sisters, it's kind of like there's no separation of what you do to what that person do, because you do it all together. Notice like how that fire is going. If it's growing, that's good. You guys are really completing each other, and if it's working, if it just keeps increasing, that's great. But when you don't feel that fire like as much, then you gotta watch out, because maybe that's the time that you need to find a life separate from that person while still living with that person, while still, you know, seeing each other, admiring each other, supporting each other. But with this B pattern that I was just saying, that I was just explaining, I felt like I would become one with that person, and we wouldn't quite, like that pattern specifically, right? Like, we wouldn't quite embody it fully, like assume it to all our friends, for example, or to life. It would happen indirectly, meaning like in the inside, it would feel already like as like one thing, because we were spending too much time energetically together. But that man wouldn't support me externally, in like, meaning like, I'm gonna support you with the things you like to do. Even though I don't like the things you do, I want you to thrive on those things that you're doing. But instead, that man would just basically continue to do its own thing. Yeah. Like, oh, I get to do my own thing, and I can support you here and there with dinner, with like nice tours. But really, do you think that's enough for me, bitch? So, yes, I would say both patterns for both men are toxic, dangerous, and I'm finally aware of it. Nowadays, I just live. So there's pattern C that I haven't disclosed yet, which has to do with a mix between both, between A and B. No wonder why it's called C. So with C, there's a mix of sexual synergy and similar alliance, similar interests, some emotional intelligence, not a lot, but some. There's willingness from both parties to make it right, but there's a lot of on and off. Typically, it's not like straight on, like either we'll go or we stop right here and we say it's over. With C, it's this on and off, like the partner who disappears for a while. When he shows up, he pretends like he never had disappeared, that he's the same like it was before. And he's basically indefinite, undefined. He hasn't quite defined what he wants yet, so he's at a place where he doesn't know. And because he doesn't know, he thinks he can treat you as if he doesn't quite know himself, or as if he does know himself. Like he can pretend like he is in sync with you, in communication with you, but in reality, he has no clue about what you're doing, why you're doing that, because he's also trying to figure himself out. So that's pattern C. And with pattern C, I don't think I have suffered as much as A and B. But pattern C made me realize that there are red flags, like when you perceive straight on in a man who is unaware of himself, unaware of where he is spiritually, what the fuck he's doing in life, and what you mean to him. With pattern C, I just realized that it's time to go. And this is how we're gonna close this video. It's time to go because I've shared the hell out of. Bye. So after reflecting the 3 patterns of men that I have attracted in the last few years, I'm now reflecting upon what I want and like about my man in this new relationship I'm attracting, which is not gonna be from those old patterns. It's gonna be new pattern now that I have gained awareness and understanding of what it is that I don't want. So what I like about this man and this relationship is that there is a certain level of equality in terms of give and take, where I don't feel like someone is overtaking, but I feel like they're overgiving. And I feel like I do the best also to give from my own conditions. Look at this bird, how beautiful. And I love the fact that he makes me feel supported, he cares about me, he is not workaholic, he is focused at work, but he balanced really well. Love, like all relationship, his time alone, our time together and work. I also love that he is available to talk about emotions and what we go through, and we don't run away from challenging conversations or emotions that arise, which means he's not with me just for the highs, but he's with me also because he wants to heal from the lows. And last but not least, I have realized it's him because in the beginning of a relationship he has shown all these aspects and traits and potential patterns that can lead, that can turn our relationship into a real one, a magical one, and most powerful one I've ever had. Amen.